I want this video to be a quick share out of one of the very valuable lessons that I've learned in my life from moving one continent to another twice. When I moved to Sweden, I used this mindset to navigate all the situations that came my way that I could not have foreseen. I had no idea my landlord was going to cancel my contract early or what side of the platform to stand on for the bus, so I was late to my first day of work, to booking the wrong air tickets and realizing they weren't flexible and losing out on 7,500 SEK, which is about 11,000 Rand, which is my current rent. So all of these things, I have applied this mindset that I'm going to share with you today. And this mindset is what I call the moving box. It's not only applicable to moving situations, but really any big change that has come up in your life. Maybe it's a new job, maybe you're getting into a new relationship, or like me, you're moving continents and you know nothing about the country you're moving to, the language, you don't have the currency, you didn't travel much as a child, so you really don't know how to engage with aeroplanes and airports and trains and buses, and all of these things stack up to create situations that might be overwhelming. If you're like me and you tend to go into spirals when you make a mistake and beat yourself up, self-flagellate, then this is definitely the mindset for you. This is something that can add valuable years onto your life when you consider that cortisol coming from these stressful situations actually decreases your lifespan if it is in extreme amounts. So it's not a small thing to reduce your anxiety and stress and pressure on a given moment. In a nutshell, the moving box mentality is viewing time, energy, money as resources. And we spend these resources to get something in return. Sometimes what we get in return is not what we intended to. So when I spent money on my air tickets, I might not have expected that instead I was going to get a lesson on buying flexible airfare when there are unforeseen circumstances in your life you know might arise and require you to take a quick trip home. In that situation, I didn't intend to learn a lesson with the money that I'd spent, but I have. And when I apply that mindset to the situation, I realized that what my priority was in that moment is actually getting home, is actually making the trip that I needed to make, not trying to change this inflexible ticket to work in this very specific circumstance. And I wasted hours and energy in an already stressful situation on trying to change this airfare, when in reality, if I had used my moving box mentality approach, I could have just said, look, that was some inflexible tickets. It's going in my moving box. It was a cost. And yes, you made a mistake. But if you can get this lesson out of it, then you have learned something valuable that is going to be an investment over your lifespan. So it is about integrating an approach where you don't beat yourself up about making mistakes when something goes awry, when there's information that you just didn't know in the moment that seems to have a very large impact on the situation that you're in. If you put the things that previously you might have considered as a waste or a mistake into the moving box, the energy, the time, the money, and what you get out is a lesson that you can then invest in the rest of your time doing whatever thing you're doing, you gain from a difficult situation. And for me, that is an essential way that allows me to move through situations, not only to have a positive outcome at the end, but after that initial maybe mistake or lack of thought or whatever is made, to make better decisions going down the line. This has also allowed me to work through my dysfunctional relationship with money. All these uncertainties from whatever life change comes my way is even more difficult when I put that on top. Because money for me is seen as a survival mechanism, something I need to conserve, I end up spending too much energy and time to conserve an unwarranted amount of money. By viewing money as a resource in this way, being able to put it in this box when I make a mistake and pull something out that is still valuable, that I still will benefit from throughout my life, I'm able to not be so restrictive with myself. If we rewind 2 steps though, away from my personal issues, and see what this moving box or insert box mentality allows us to not put so much pressure on singular decisions in other potentially stressful or anxiety-raising moments. And this lowers the barrier to extend beyond our comfort zone, to try new things. And if we can lower those barriers and make it safer to allow ourselves to do things, then that's where we really are going to reach our full potential. If we are conservative of our resources, if we are scared of taking a big risk, then it's much, much harder to get ourselves to do that. It takes a lot more energy. So this has a compounding effect. And if this mindset is continuously integrated into our lives, then over time, we will actually be reducing the amount of resources that we spend on these bigger, more challenging things. We give ourselves the safe space to do things that we've always wanted to try and do, and that can only be good for our growth. That wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It did touch on a few personal notes for me, but it has been a really crucial way for me to move forward in my life and let go of some of the unhealthy and dysfunctional things that I learned throughout the time that I've been on this planet. If there's anyone out there who does tend to negative spiral and beat themselves up over small things or big things, I shared that I had a pretty big cost that I now am putting in this moving box. Share this video with them. Maybe this mentality and this way of moving forward in life can help them work through some of their stuff. Anywho, like, subscribe,